Kia ora te whānau, nau mai ki te wānanga o ai.
Please know that we aren't experts or doctors.
We are opening up our hearts and sharing our thoughts and experiences to create a safe space to talk about sex.
To support and inform our rangatahi.
We encourage you to have an open mind and heart to this kaupapa.
This program contains strong language and sexual content intended for mature audiences only.
Viewer discretion advised.
You must be 18 or have parental approval to view this series.
Nau mai, tomo mai ki te whare o ai.
I remember the first time I ever watched porn was with my boyfriend in high school, and then all of a sudden they're having sex. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa!
Everyone was given the task of sculpting their favourite sex position.
Here I am, spread eagle on the bottom.
Never have I ever had sex with multiple people at one time.
Like, what do you mean? Kei ngā moto I kahote anō roto mai I ngā iwi, putanoa, nau mai tomo mai ki te whare wānanga o... Ai. Hei timatake I te wānanga. Kua prei kēmu tātou. And this kēmu is a bit of a spicy one. We're bringing the Spice Girls out on this one. Hoi anō, 2 truths, 1 lie. You bring out 2 truths, you say 1 lie, and we have to guess how te rūkahu, ne? And we're going to start off on this side, so te one. Start us off and make sure it's spicy.
Okay, hi. Okay, tuatahi. The first time I had sex, I had unprotected sex. I gagged on her toes. I didn't finish.
Toes.
Toes. No way you're touching no toes. First time, and you're already into the fetishes.
I think that it's more the didn't finish because
Same.
you gagged from the toes.
I think it's the not finishing too.
Yeah. Are you going to give us the drum roll?
Toes.
All right, the toes was...
Gang on the boat! Oh, yeah, can't buy it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I haven't even thought of them, so I'm just going to try go off the top of my head. Okay. I have, I've never done butt stuff. I've kissed more girls than I have guys. And I have never used a vibrator.
So how te whakatau?
No,
Tahu, how tō whakatau?
Te mahi o te tau. You haven't been touching nonos.
Te mahi o te tū.
Ho mai o ringa, hei hongi māku. Nope. Kari ai mahi ngā mahi nono.
I want that to be alive. Missing out on a whole nother world. And I'd be disappointed in Nathaniel.
can't say it.
No, okay. So I want to say number 2, kissing more wahine than tāne. Just because, yeah, I think you're a committed wahine and you go for committed relationships, so very minimal in the experiencing around. However, kaya koe tonu tēnā. What about you, te one?
Yeah, I agree. The nono stuff.
Drum roll!
Ko te wahine.
Good boy, Nathaniel! Good boy! Kapai! Tahu boy?
Oh, you've upped the bounty there. I lost my virginity in the sand dunes. I've kissed over 10 men multiple times. And I have had sex with 5 people in a day.
Wow, that's a good one.
Oh, I like this one.
Well, kua mātiki koutou i ona pohi ki runga i te paiahua. Ka kihi ia I ngā tāne I a rātou e moiana. Nā reira. Nā reira.
Hey, consensual.
Ko tērā te kaupapa ki tēnei kua.
Staged fun.
Staged,
Come on,
sorry.
Engari he ngatu ki te ngatu. Nā reira.
Hey,
Ko te oni ki te one.
And I'm going to go with the hiwi oni. Te one?
That's my whakaaro true. That's what I've been thinking. Because I'm like, no, you're way too open for your first time to have just been at the beach. Like, it's the first time. Yeah, I'm going to go with the beach is your lie.
I don't know you from a bar of soap. No. I would say I'm just going to choose something different.
Nice, good girl.
And I'm going to say that 5 people in a day.
Drum roll.
Drum roll.
No way, 5 people. What is that to? How dare all 3 of you
Hey.
assume that of me?
That's an attraction. 5 people. Hey.
Mind you, the onion is not that much better. That's true.
No,
That's true.
pai tērā. Tēnā koe tahu boy. All right. Oh, she got her notepad and everything.
Pai ki au I te wā ka kai tētahi tōku nono.
Tika hau hoki.
He huruhuru kei tōku tara.
Ooh, pai tērā.
Ka patero au I au e ai ana.
Oh.
Patero I tō nono I tō...
Kau I tōku
Taro.
nono.
Te nono. Kia hoki nei whakaaro ko te huruhuru.
Mea hoki.
Yeah, mea hoki. Mea tu
Tēnā Māori koe. He
Ka te rūkahu.
Ai.
Ko te hao e nā he mea rūkahu.
Aira.
2 truths, 1 lie ne.
Ai.
Ko te pātai he huruhuru kei tōku tara.
Nā reira, ko te rūkahu tērā?
Kau.
Oh!
Ko te rūkahu ko ngā mahi nono. Ai.
Oh, I'm pretty good at the nono.
Investigating.
I look at you guys' eyes and I'm like, yeah, girl's done it. That's all. Yeah, she's got the pleasure there for. Okay. 2 truths, 1 lie. I have never kissed a wahine. I have never used a dating app. And I have had sex on a plane.
Oh.
See, because you don't seem like a dating app person, but I know stereotypically within the gay community, it's quite a large place to meet, you know, a lot of partners.
Bye.
So I'm going to write that out for you.
Okay.
Ki wahine.
Ka pai. All right. Can I hear the side?
Ki wahine.
Oh, okay.
Dating app.
Oh.
Ai. Mea hoki.
Dating app. Nā reira, koe nā te rūkahu. Okay. Tēnā koutou.
Kaua ki.
Drum roll me.
Wakariri nei.
Ko te rūkahu o aku kōrero. Ko te wakarere rani. Come on, people. I'm not fancy out there, man. However, I appreciate you guys thinking I'm that free. Wow. Tika tonu. No, yes, of course, in my experimenting days. Yo, e tipu ana. How do you know if you don't like something if you don't do it? So,
Tēnā koe.
ko te kihi ki au te tahi o ngā mea tuatahi. Mo te whai i tērā whiako. I knew right then and there that, nah, this is not me. So,
Moiona.
didn't go any further than that.
Rangatahi.
Ai, te katoni. Hoi anō, enei kōrero, enei wānanga, hei puare mai I te kaupapa kōrero. Me te pāreka hoki o ngā whakaaro I puta I a tātou, hei timatake I ngā mahi wānanga. Hoi anō I te tuatahi, we're going to listen to some spicy confessions. I'm going to hand it over to Stevie Girl. What is our confession this week?
Anei, tō tātou confession, tō tātou kōrero whakapuaki. Here we go. Whakarongo mai. I was the last of my mates to lose my virginity. I felt a deep need to lose it ASAP because I felt like I wasn't seen as an equal within our crew. I had issues with rushing as I honestly did believe that my first time would be with the love of my life, somewhere special, and that would be in love. But because I felt excluded from the majority of my friends' convos, I decided I needed to lose it ASAP. I asked my friends to help me find a suitable guy to lose it to. They were so excited for me, and it was honestly the most included I had felt in a very long time. We found a guy and started planning. We were going to meet up for dinner, then go back to his flat to have sex. We went to dinner and I was extremely nervous. I was getting bombarded by texts from my mates asking how it was going and giving me useful tips on how to ease the discomfort of losing your virginity. The guy was absolutely stunning. He was great at making me feel comfortable, but there was just this tiny voice at the back of my mind telling me this wasn't right. I suppressed this voice and carried on. Before we left dinner, I ordered 8 tequila shots to ease my nerves and hopefully numb me a little so I didn't feel the pain as much. Once I had done the shots, we were in an Uber on the way to his house. We finally started some cheeky foreplay, and I just felt so uneasy through it all. He was a really good kisser, but I was just not in the headspace to be feeling any type of way for this guy. He pulled down his pants, and I literally started to bawl my eyes out. It might have been a little embarrassing for him, but this was my way of telling him I wasn't ready yet. He was a little awkward at first, but I told him it was nothing against him. I just wasn't ready for sex. He made a joke to ease the tension and got me a bottle of beer and switched on the TV. We lied in bed watching movies till we fell asleep. This guy was great and really respected my choice of not wanting to go through with it, which I really admired. It's now 3 years later and we're engaged. It took me 4 months from that initial date to finally build a connection with him and to lose it to someone I truly loved. Aha koanga, piki me ngā heke.
Took me on a roller coaster. He said, I whakaaro, your friends fucking suck. You guys suck. You know, that made me feel like cringe, like thinking that your friends would exclude you because of a whiako, or there isn't even a thing that involves them. Like, that was something that made me really cringe at the start. Nice story how it ended up, but I think that's a 1 in a million. Those friends, that was ratchet to listen to.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I was thinking about it too, and I was like, whoa, I can relate to this so much. I was that person in my friend group as well, but I didn't meet someone that was that understanding, and I ended up doing it. So yeah, I thought, I can relate to this, and I went, she's engaged.
I'll be honest, I didn't actually know where that story was going, and I'm glad that it had an ending like that, you know, kind of all turned out in the end. However, I think it's really important in those moments of, I guess, you know, there's expectations, especially when meeting up with someone. There's always that expectation of, no, we're going to do it, and then that guilt of pulling out if you're not feeling it. So I think what's real important here is te whakarongo ki o tairongo, and your gut instincts, and especially, of course, is going through that. She felt that and she listened to it. I mean, she even stated it herself, trying to suppress it with alcohol, and I think actually that could possibly even make it worse. It heightens those kind of feelings. So I think it's really important to listen to that gut instinct, and also to not fall for pressure, especially when it's a social pressure, even if it's not, I guess, intentional of your social surroundings. It's not to fall into that pressure of their expectations on what you should do with your own body, what you should be experiencing, and what you should limit your experiences to. So I think I'm glad that girl had a bit of a happy ending. I te o te ngā iho. Hoi anō koina pia tetahi o ngā tāhuhu o ngā whakaaro i tēnei wānanga i te rangi nei, ko te te ata wete I tēnei mea te whakaetanga. Consent. Ne, o whakaaro te au mihi?
Well, you know, wai marie katoa I pērā te putanga mai o taua āhuatanga. Tuatahi ake, you know, tōna mana whakai. Aha kua kāre ia I rongo I tērā mana, I pau te roanga o te pō, kia puta mai tērā whakakahore. Nā reira, ko tōna mana whakai, whakakahore rānei he tino hiranga o roto I ngā mahi ai. Te tuku I tō tinana ki tētahi tangata tō katoa, kei raro iho I tō mana me tō tapu. And heha te āhua o te mana, o te tapu, o te whakai, o te whakakahore. And ko tēnei kōrero, you know, he tino whakatauira o tō tātou ao I a mātou rangatahi ana. Ko ngā hoa e pēhi ana I a koe, ki te whai I a rātou. You know, ko tō mohio ki tō mana ake, me tō mohio ki tō tapu. You know, ko ēnei ngā āhuatanga ka puta mai I a mātou I roto I te kura. So, tuatahi, wai mari e koe, I pērā te putanga mai I te mahi rereke mō tātou katoa. Tuarua tō kaha ki te whakamana I tō kupu. Just tino pai te rongo I tērā, you know, I puta mai tērā mana, I whakamanahia tōna kupu, I whakai te tānera, kia, you know, auare ake kāre I mahi I te ai, engari hei aha tērā, you know, kua puta mai, ka mārena rau a koe nei, and tino pai tērā.
I think, okay, after dissecting her experiences, bringing it back to us and our own personal experiences, has anyone ever been in a position where you haven't felt comfortable or you just haven't felt the vibe of following through, pursuing? It might have built up into the moment where you're about to do it, and has anyone gone to the experience where you felt, no, I don't want to do this, and what was that experience like for you? Has anyone ever gone through that?
Yeah.
I can talk about it with my current partner now, Nathaniel, Nat. We like met when we were out, and we had kind of like made exchanges over social media, and then we were out one night having drinks, and it was my mates and his mates, and a couple of us ended up back at their place with a couple of like his mates, and we were hooking up, and I just said to him, I was like, oh nah, like I'm not ready for sex. I had just gotten out of like a really committed relationship, and for me sex is a thing of connection for me, and so I like to have that connection. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm not ready for sex. And he was like, okay, cool, yeah, all good, that was fine. And we just like hung out for a bit, and I remember like we just fell asleep, woke up in the morning, watched Kapahaka, and then like yeah, we didn't actually have sex for like 2 or 3 months. Because
make him work for us.
But it was because I wasn't ready, and also it built like a really strong connection between us, because it helped me to really like trust him. I guess that he was willing to wait for me and to wait until the time that I was ready, which really strengthened our relationship. Again, not saying that it's anything bad if you have sex on the first night. Yeah, pai tērā. But you know, just for me, I wanted to wait, and the fact that he was willing to wait for me was, and yeah, now we have a baby together.
And no
Tika.
For me, there's like two stereotypical characteristics between the mana o te tāne me te wahine. So with tāne in particular, like there's when you don't consent last minute, like that lady in there, there's that they feel like, you know, shamed, so they pressure or they push or that's something that I have heard from a lot of my mates, where they just real disgusting with that behavior, where they won't take no for an answer. And for me, in my own experience, how I felt is sorry for her. So when I've taken a girl home from town, she said something to me in the thing that was real racist about just in Māori, he Pākehā tēnei waine, and it put me off straight away. So when we got home, I was like, look, I'm going to Uber you home. I don't want to do this with you anymore. And then she cried. Like, so that was the difference with the wahine. So she played the guilt trip on me.
Yeah.
Like I was making her out to be not worthy. And that was like where I felt, oh, I'm sorry, I'll do it for you. Yeah, like, you know, like,
so you've been pressured
that's the
guilt trips.
Yeah.
Emotional blackmail or
And that's
manipulation. Manipulation.
That consent gets harder and harder through the night. You know, if you say no at the start, sweet, nothing else is going to carry on. But as you get closer and closer to that thing, it gets really hard to say no.
Yeah, you're right, because there's all of those expectations, I guess, especially when you're building yourself up or you and your partner up to a certain spot. And it's really addressing at this time that it's never too late. There's no no time limit on consent.
During,
exactly. Right up to the moment, during the moment, before, you know, that is one of the most important things to do. Hui anō, hangai pū ana ki ngā kōrero a te rangatahi. We have got whakaaro from our rangatahi. Mō tēnei tūmomo kaupapa nā reira kia whakarongo ake tātou ki Rangatahi Talks.
Kaha ki a koe tēnei mea te whakaetanga? Pretty straightforward.
No. Just ask.
Ja kāre koe te whaka? Then kāre te whaka?
Yeah.
That's a big one, eh? Yeah. Sometimes it's like body language, I reckon.
I would say actually saying yes is a big part of it. And I think it's important to be able to realise that you can say no at any point.
Yeah. So,
mutual agreement?
Yeah, mutual agreement, making sure that both parties are agreeing to sexual activities. And I mean, probably if you don't know them, set boundaries, like what you don't want.
And kaua e whakai ki ngā pēhitanga hoki, just because all your mates are doing it, I feel like you don't have to give into that pressure. I mean, yeah.
If you're not feeling 100% about it, don't do it.
Do you ask for consent before making moves?
Absolutely. I think it's essential that those kind of questions need to be pushed through in regards to mutual and consensual foreplay, in regards to consensual sex.
I think yes.
Yeah.
Or I do. What do you do? Would you just,
No, like if it's like on someone you just met that night, then obviously.
You know, it's a bit weird.
But I think it might be a bit different with partners, because if you're both doing those things at the same time, then.
Is it different when you're in a relationship?
Yeah, because
Do you think it's different if you're in a relationship?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think so too, because, you know, quite a more kōrero for some of those who've been in relationships and still, yeah.
At the end of the day, if you don't want to do it, don't do it, whether they're your partner or what.
do you know what types of protections are out there? Glad wrap and in the vessel? No. Protections, yep.
So, I don't know, condoms, and then girls have contraception.
Do you know what types of protections are out there?
No. Just a condom, I guess.
I feel like I te mōhio ki te nuinga mō ngā wāhine. Are there any whātāne?
Kua takahia tō mana, tō tapu e tētai atu?
Kare kore I awe wairangi ana, probably, but not that I could think of. Kare anō?
But not violently. Sometimes it's things that are just, grooming or hand placements.
To me, I don't think it's just a physical thing. It can be people trying to talk to you online. It could be people trying to talk to you in person, whether you're out in town, if you're out having a good time somewhere. Someone could try to come up and talk to you, not leave you alone. Like that makes you uncomfortable, and sometimes people can't read those signals, or maybe they do read the signals and they ignore the signals.
Tuia hoki ki ngā wānanga ki ngā kōrero a ngā rangatahi, ko te aro ki tēnei mea, te protection. Contraception, is there a difference? I'm not too sure. Maybe we can get a professional opinion on that. Hui anō, what contraception are we using, and do we know what types of contraceptions are out there?
I don't know of many contraceptions.
Arai hapu.
Yeah, arai hapu. Arai hapu.
STI.
Ai. Is there arai STI other than potai? Not really, eh? Well,
Contraception.
mō ngā wahine, I've had the jab, I've had the pill, but ka he te noho ki roto i taku tinana, ka he te rere hoki o te toto I toku ikura. Nā reira, ka tino whakararu tira I au, wairua a hinengaro I te makare au te mohi o mehe mea rānei ka toto au tēnei rā tira wiki rānei, nā te he pēr o tā tēnei rongoa noho ki roto I tōku tinana. Mehe mea kaore au I te kai rongoa, e mohi o pai ana au, a tira wiki ka whiwhi au, ka pēnei pēr te roa o taku whiwhi, nā reira he pai tira moku a hinengaro, a wairua I te mea, ka tae au te whakarite mo tira, engari I te wairunga au I te pill, te jab rānei, kāre au te mohi o hei a hea ka whiwhi, mehe mea ka tino taumaha, ka māma te puta mai, nā reira koira pia tētahi raru nui o era momo rongoa is, it's not going to be effective for everyone. E koira tētahi kōrero me puta, because when I got mine done, it was like, oh, you have to because you're at an age where you're going to start having sex, so that means you have to have protection. But it wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for my body. So how... Is there anything else that we can do instead of injecting all this stuff into us to prevent being hapu? Yes, he pōtai, engari he mahi anō, he mahi Māori ake, mai te whenua rānei, he kai, tērā pia hei rangahau mā ngā wahine. Engari, koira tāku o ku wheako?
Well, mōku I te wānei, no te pāonga ariki tōku hoa, no reira he Māngai mo te iwi mōrihu, mō rātana pā. So, mō tērā hāhi, kare āhei ana ki te contraception. Mai tērā mea he...
Wow, spiritual beliefs even having an influence on contraception. Okay.
So, mō ia, he tapu tērā process, and ina ka tuku te atua he tamaiti mōna, then he tika. He tika tērā. So, for me at the moment, well, not at the moment, forever now. Forever. My missus doesn't believe in contraception because of her religious beliefs, and when that was something new for me. I've never been with somebody who's religious. And I'm not religious myself. So when that was a discussion we had, I was fully supportive. I was like, okay, well, if that's what you believe in, I can't do anything. I could wear my own protection, but I don't like to.
I guess it's good though, especially in a long-term relationship and when you've committed yourself to the one person, you don't have that risk of contracting anything from multiple partners.
And we both did our sex stuff at the start, got our test, and then now I just don't care. I want a baby, so safe. I seen her like you, and I was like, oh my God.
Te one, professional, please wrap us. What are your whakaaro of our current situation?
No, I agree with what everyone said, and I've been in situations where I've had to wānanga with different people in these exact spaces. And when it comes to contraception, it is a choice, and you need to wānanga with your doctor or your sexual health practitioner so that you are getting the right contraception for yourself. So if we kind of separate contraception, we have a latex whānau, we have a hormone whānau, and we have a non-hormonal whānau.
Oh, I love that.
So, our latex contraceptions are things like condoms, which is our standard. Then we have the femidom, which is a female condom. So it's an enlarged condom that a wahine insert themselves. And then we have the dental dam, which is protection against oral sex for those who still want to get like freaky when they got the mamai. But yeah, all of that stuff. And then when we think about hormonal, that's the jab, those are the pills. And the reason why it doesn't agree with the body is because they're adding man-made hormones into your body. Kei roto mātou, like, you know, it's already there. So our main hormones are estrogen and progesterone. What they're doing is they're putting progesterone into the body to stop the eggs from releasing out of the ovaries. So that's its main purpose.
So could that potentially damage a female's body?
There's no scientific proof to say that it damages. However, it doesn't sit right with lots of women. And I guess maybe the science hasn't been done because they don't want to, I guess, ruin the chances of contraception. Not sure. But people don't take well to lots of them, and they're always the hormone based. So if you're looking at another option, I would recommend the IUD, the copper IUD. Sperm doesn't like copper for some reason. They tested it on a camel. They had a camel carry copper, and they tried to inject sperm in. It left the body.
The camel consent?
There was no consent from the camel. But got it. Camel,
Okay.
But there also wasn't in New Zealand. Just disclaimer.
I was going to say,
nor why he cares.
They have camel toes.
But yeah, so that's an option for those that are looking at contraception. The copper IUD will be your best chance. Every other contraception, apart from latex, all have hormone. Some people can't have extra estrogen for our wahine, can't have extra estrogen in the body, so they'll take the progesterone only. Or then you have the ECP pill, which is the emergency contraception pill. You know?
Yes, familiar.
Well, I guess for us too, it's making these stuff more accessible for our rangatahi, providing more information. So when we think about contraception, there's so many now, and long-acting or reversible contraceptions are things like the IUD. They can stay for 5 to 10 years. The Marina, 3 to 5. The Jadal, 3 to 5. Or if we're looking at any other kind of options, it's the vasectomy for the tane. But tane only have 2 contraceptions. That's a condom and vasectomy. The focus is on our wahine. Why? I still haven't been given that answer. I ask it all the time.
Yeah. Probably because they can't run away from the baby. It comes with them for 9 months, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they need to protect it the most.
Pai e nei kōrero e hoa mā, hei whakawhānui I ngā kōrero mo tēnei mea te tapu, arā mo e nei mahi, kua kuhu mai te puhi mā rei kura o te tai tokerau, ara kui moe, e pato mai nei tana wāia I tēnei wā. Koe anō kei reira hoki koe e koe.
Ai, ke konei
ngā mihi o te rā kia koe o tira no mātou tonu te Māori I whai wā mai koe ki tēnei wānanga a tātou. Hea hoki o whakaro mō tēnei kaupapa e koe?
Koe te wahi, ko ngaro ke te mātauranga mo te tapu o te tinana o te wahine, tapu o te tinana o te tāne, ko te tapu o te wahine kei ona ko te tapu o te tāne kei tōna mātinga. Hore kara kei tōna uri. Kei tōna uri.
Nā reira, hea ai koiranga wahi tapu?
Taku whakapai, ki tōku more o te kaputu, nā maha nei ngā kupu e pāna ki te kaipo, I ngā mate koe, hoki ana koe ki tō kaipo, ki tō māma, ki tō whenua, ki tō papa tuanuku. E le anga mai tira I runga I tēnei mā o e whāngai I te uri ki roto I tōna hapu. Ko te whāngai ko te kaipo, ngā tino tikanga Māori e whakamana I te mana o te wahine. Hanganu, kaua kōrero mai mo ngā mea o wenera. Ko tā te tāne, ko tērā, ko tāna mātenga, ko tāna upako, ko tāna tiki, ne? Kei reira tōna tikanga, te nohonga o te whakaro, ne te whakaro nui, me te mātina whakamua ki te oranga o te hapu. Nā te tainga mai o Christana, ka tahi anō ka uru mai me tapu te tinana kapua. Tērā ko te uptight o ngā Pākehā.
Nā reira, hea hoki ngā tapu o te mahi I te ai. He tapu rānei kei kona?
O mea, ko te mātenga, ko te ngā wāhi tapu, hore kai atu he tapu, ono mahi a te mahi ke puta i ngā uri, ko te mea tino I whakaro nuitia, ko te puta o te uri, hei whakanui ake I te whānau, hei tākoha oranga atu ki te hapu.
Heha no o whakaro mo te taha whakaharikua I te tangata I Arataua e mahi ana I te ai. Mehe mea rānei koira...
Mehe harikua ka tika. Me reka e ra kome ka. Wana koe ākoa I ngā wā o te tomo, ne? I ngā wā mua ka tomo mea te tāne ki tōna wahine. Ka mutu, e me taku marama I kōrero nai tāne me te wahine. Kei kona anō ia tāne ki te tāne wahine ki te wahine. Wera mea kōrero katoa. E kai e noho tanu nau I runga tērā te tomo mai te tāne ki te wahine. Ki wetahi, kātahi ka waka mea ki roto I te tehi, ka here mea raini, ngā waiwai kia tai rano, kia rongo rau e te reka, ka tai no ka tukua.
Nā reira, he hiranga nui o te whakaputa uri, hei tākoha atu ki ngā hāpori. He hiranga nui hoki o te whai I te ai, hei painga mō tō tinana, mō o rongo hoki.
Koia, ai, ka mutu, kia pai te ai, e ai ki I roto I te tai o mata kōrero I te taumata, tērā wiki ko rātou e whakatauana I te tai kōrero me kai I mua te ai. Me te rā.
Kai te aha.
Ko kōrero ke tātou mō te tapu. O ngā wā o mua, ai hoi anō anga whakamua ana ki te anamata, ka hoki ngā mea kia mau tonu, hei tapu, tahi kōrero tohu rānei, mō te hunga rangatahi, mō tātou tonu e whainei I nei kōrero.
Ko hau tēnei, e tūno whakapono ana, me kōrero tātou I tēnei, I roto I tēnei. Ko kore ke tātou e marama ki ngā whakatapunga ki ngā kōrero I tapu ai wera wahanga I mua, e ngai kia hau nei, me tūno ka tātou te kōrero ki te tapu o te tinana, mai tēnei rā. I roto I tērā, hei kia noho, kia noho mare, kia noho haumaru ei, te wahine, te tāne raini, I tōna tiaki, I tōna manaki, I tōna whakanui, I tōna ake tinana. Kia hau I tēnei wā me kōrero tātou mo te tapu o te tinana. Ai.
Tēnā koe I nā kōrero, I nā whakaro, o tira e waimari e nā tātou, I te wahine pukenga rau, wheako rau anō ki tēnei a koe, hei arataki, hei kai urungi I nei kōrero I tēnei wānanga anō ki nā reira, e te mārai kura e mihi nui ana ki a koe. Tēnā rau atu koe? Hei whakahoki mai I te rārangi kōrero ki te tāhu kaupapa, I guess it's looking at tapu and what relevance does that have to consent?
Like if I think about, when I talk about values, I guess that's a space where tapu can come in. It's a space where I guess you make that decision on what's going to be tapu. And when we talk about, when Whai Moe was talking about, even the moving forward and looking into the future, for us, it's things around like ngā tangata takatapui, or mātou. I was going to say e na tangata.
Tērā hapori.
But like, when we think about it, they, again, we're in a time now where they can set what that tapu looks like for them, and they can figure out what it is that they want to be, I guess, addressed as, known as, but leaving the mana, I think, to the person. So at any time they can say I or gao, and it just be okay. But I think when we think about tapu stuff, I think that's why I've had hidden, I put tapu on myself somewhere in my life. So I think that's why I don't like going out and exploring all that stuff. But I better reflect about that, because I would like some of that to change.
Yes. Ka pai. Pehe koe, Steve?
Yeah, there's a lot of kōrero out there when it talks about obviously when you have sex with someone that you are sharing your energy or what you hold with them and they're also sharing it with you. And so I think with tapu it's also considering like what are you willing to share, what are you opening up yourself to share with the other person, and then also what are they going to be putting into your what are they going to be putting into your space or into your tinana, you know, not just what are they putting in there? But, you know, our wairua, our hinengaro, what are they bringing into the space? You know, what are you going to have to potentially be carrying after with this, which I think is about honouring your tapu, but also the tapu of your partner if you're having sex with another person or other people. You know, how are you honouring your own tapu and their tapu, I guess?
Yeah. So if we look at consent, what does that look like? What is that? Are there any barriers to consent and what that looks like?
Well, consent, he whakakahore rānei tētahi mea. Engari nā tātou te hunga tangata I whakauaua I tērā mā ngā waiaro. Pērā ki tō kōrero mō taua wā I whakahē pēr tētahi wahine I a koe me tō o whakaro tō rongo hoki I te he o tērā engari ka mahi tonu, nā runga I te whakaro mo tōna mana, tōna hiahia rānei, engari he mehema ka whakaro mo te kupu consent, he whakakahore nā tātou te hunga tangata tēnei I uaua ai, hei whai mā tātou. Nā reira anō he kaimate hinengaro, he rereke I a tāngata mea rā te whakaro mo tēnei, and he painga o tērā.
Are there any official terms or mātauranga around consent?
When we think about consent, the most important thing when we're educating anyone is that consent is it's like a living thing, whether you want to call it a living document, even though it's not on paper, but like it's about at any point you can change your mind because you get to make the decision about what happens to you and your body. But again, when we think about consent, something we're hearing now is, when you have consensual sex.
Yeah, ka. He he tērā.
Ke te he tērā.
He he tērā.
Ke te he tērā. Nā te mea...
Ko te ai.
Ko te ai. Anake.
Everything should be
it's not consensual sex.
E hara ko te kupu anake.
If there's no consent,
e hara tērā I te.
That's abuse.
Yeah. So it's not just a yes or no, there's body language to consent.
75% of communication happens through the body. So when we think about when you're giving consent and you ask someone, even if you've had an experience asking someone if, you're keen for a jam? And they're like,
yes.
Yeah.
Ai.
Kei reira.
Yeah.
Ko te waha e mea na engari te tinana e mea na kao.
Nā reira e ki ana koe he whitu te kauma aha? Te pahinete?
So like 71%-ish.
He nui tonu tērā, Nā reira, he pukenga te pānui te tinana, me pēhea te whāngai tērā ki ngā taiohi?
It's e hara te mea māma. Because rangatahi are so used to listening to people and following orders, because from, I guess, being teina, we were taught to listen to adults. Adults know what's best. So whatever they say goes. We go to kura. We get told what to do, how to stand in the line. I didn't like that you opened your mouth when you walked in, go line up again. Or stand up and you're going to go out now. Or sit down. No, you sit on the ground, not on the chair. All of those things contribute to why our rangatahi and some of us don't know how to consent because we're trained by, I guess, our life, or in our life, that we have to listen to people who are older than us. And then we go into the marae. Same thing.
Final, I guess, takeaways from our kōrero and our wānanga today as we wrap up tēnei mea te tapu, tēnei mea te whakaetanga, heahanga gold nuggets. What are the key takeaways from our kōrero today?
Yeah, well, I guess ko te tapu e hara i te mea he tapu te ai. Kei a koe te tikanga o tērā tapu, engari e hara i te mea he tapu. Ko o ko tō hirikapo, ngā mea tapu. Tuarua, ko te whakai, ko te whakakahore, he mea nui I roto I te ao, e hara I te mea ko te ai anake, engari ko ngā āhuatanga o tō ao. me te ako hoki mo etahi ārai hapu, ārai māwiwi, kei waho rā mō tātou. You know, he akoranga nui tēnei māku mā tātou. E hara i te mea I kuhu mai ki tēnei me te mōhio ki ngā mea katoa mo te ai. He akoranga tonu kei roto I enei nā reira. Koera pia ngā meka matua o tēnei kōrero I tino umai ki au.
Oh, ka pai! Well, tēnā rau atu koutou I ēnā whakaaro me taku tautoko hoki. I think key takeaways from me, I really appreciated having the different generations adding into our discussions. We had Rangatahi talks, mihi nui ana ki a kui moe, mōna I whakapūrangi aho o tātou whakaaro, o tātou, tō tātou māramatanga ki tēnei take te tapu. I think key takeaways from this is a yes. And if it's not a yes, wow. Nah? So don't assume, always read. And particularly when we're looking at having these interactions and these connections with others, consent. Koe nā te mea matua. Hoi anō, e nei kōrero hea tāhua tonu. Kia maumahara hoki koutou I te kāinga. Mena, ko te ai tau e rapu. Kia tika, kia pono, kia tapu. Ka kohi ake I te tapu o ngā kōrero, ka whakairihi ake ki runga kia tīna.
Tīna!
Hui e?
Tai ki e.
Kia ora mai tātou.
Kia ora.